much do you make?
I make about $249 a year.
I get $59,000 a year.
Nice,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I do work hourly, so currently I make 25, but I'm about to work 25 an hour, but then I'm going to work up to like 58,000 a year.
I'm a staff scientist.
If you could describe what you do in one sentence, what would you say?
Attempt to identify genetic variants in humans that are associated with disease.
How much do you make for that?
Currently about 105,000.
I'm a public affairs coordinator.
How much do you make doing that?
I make $49,000.
Welcome back. That's our next guest, Hannah Williams. She was working as a data analyst in 2022 when she found out she was being underpaid by $25,000. That experience made her realize that the key to closing pay gaps is having a more open conversation about salary. So she started what you just saw there. It's called Salary Transparent Street, where she asks strangers what their jobs are and how much they're paid and posts those conversations on TikTok. Those videos are resonating with people. The page has 32.5 million likes and made over $1 million last year. Please welcome Hannah Williams to our show.
Thank you.
You said you were underpaid $25,000. How did you find out how much you were being underpaid?
My job, my responsibilities doubled overnight, so I accepted the role at $90K, and over a month, my colleague was fired, and I took on all his responsibilities that were outside my scope of work, and when I asked for a raise, they completely denied me. They shut me down. So when I started doing the market research and looking at, okay, how much are these skills worth that now I'm doing? I was underpaid about $25,000, so they got a good deal for me.
They got a good deal.
Great deal.
When you confront it, because that's a confrontation. Whenever you go into your employer and you bring up money, even though you're just asking, they call it confrontation. Sorry, HR,
Right.
but that is what it's called.
Yeah.
So you go in and you confront about this. What did they say?
They told me two things. One, I had to be at the company at least a year before I even qualified for a raise, and I just started, so I was way out of that range. The other one was they only gave out raises of 3 to 5% at any one time, so way less than what I was asking for.
Wow, so you have spoken with over 1,000 people, which is incredible because you want people to say it out loud so we can know what the other person is making, not for a bragging reason, but in many cases to realize how much the company is robbing you.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's really about people normalizing pay transparency and making it simple and easy to say. It's not, we're not bragging, we're not trying to show out. It's just a matter of showing this is how much I make, and if you're not making that, then maybe you are underpaid.
Are you seeing any particular trends or patterns?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, the people I hear are the most underpaid are usually service workers, the most important workers in our society. I mean, teachers, bus drivers, the people that work. The ones that really make our society function are the ones that are the most underpaid. But then the people I hear really well paid are in tech, finance, entrepreneurship. It's really a matter of like capitalism versus working for the public government and like the sector and what they can fund.
I was just, I'm a journalist for 30 years. I was just watching a news story this morning, and they were asking the question why, for example, are groceries so high when every grocery store has a machine, and basically I'm working to check out the groceries, right?
You might be underpaid.
It's like pay me to look up that garlic and weigh it instead of charging me for it. And so that does trickle down. Listen, it is not a novel thing to say that the people who work the hardest without the big titles and the big suites are the most underpaid. We see CEOs and billionaires more than ever before in American history, in particular in global. I'll get you started because I'm started. But people don't listen. I am sitting here on a live TV show. If you ask me what I made, I am not answering it.
Okay, good to know.
But I will not. But I do know throughout my career.
We might have to get you on the show.
I can just tell you, it's a little more than what they say on Google. I'll say that. but I'll tell you this. I have worked alongside men my entire career and even propped a few up who made significantly more than me. But it was always taboo because in media, we are compensated well after a certain point. I'm on national stage, so I always felt it was hard because I saw a couple of people in your video and they make $275. To the average person, you're like, that's a lot. But it's a lot. then you ask the guy above them how much he's making.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's far more.
Right.
So that's the perspective of it. You see some of those people who say, I make 90,000, I make 100. You're like, that's pretty good. I'll take that. But the person who runs the company or a CEO makes a lot more off the backs of the working person, the working woman.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah, the people that have the biggest pay gaps are women, but also minorities, workers with disabilities, and the LGBTQ plus community. The problem that I saw that really inspired me to start Salary Transparent Street was when I started looking for a new job. In my first interview, the recruiter asked me, what are your salary requirements? And I'd done the market research. I knew I was worth between $100,000 to $120,000. In that moment, I was like, take the risk. You have nothing to lose. And I asked her, what's the budget for this role? I didn't want to tell her what I was asking for. She told me the budget was $115,000. Do you know why that was important? I was going to ask for $105,000. And they weren't going to tell me that I left $10K on the table.
Wow. All right, so you say one of the most common questions you get asked is how much. People ask you how much money you make on this page all the time. So you broke it down. Take a look.
Yeah.
So in 2023, we made $1,043,740.
The number one question we got was, how did we make this money?
Our main source of income is actually brand partnerships. Our market rate for video on our platform ranges in between $10,000 to $15,000.
And that adds up.
And our second source of income is actually ad revenue through social media, like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
In total, from that ad revenue on our videos, we made $30,265.
You are transparent.
Yeah. I talk the talk, I have to walk the walk.
Well, you have set off the conversation. I was going to unleash you into the Tam family. They were like, no, you don't, Tamron Hall. So we'll leave it there. But the content you're creating set off a conversation, and we're trying to pull back the secrecy. I always tell people, if you don't want to get on national TV and tell it, that's fine. But turn to your coworker that's your friend and ask them what they are making. And then conspire together to get y'all's money. Pay up.